You know, people love dinosaurs. There's just something cool about ancient giant creatures, and something really cool about portraying them so realistically on film. And that's where the original Jurassic Park movie comes into play, a cinematic feat as some might consider it. But for as iconic as that film is, has the rest of the series been able to hold up? The latest film, Jurassic World Rebirth, just released, and I thought I would take a look at this franchise I've glanced at before to answer that question for myself. So without further ado, join me as I give very subjective reviews and put these movies on a very loose tier list to see how they stack up to each other and if we really need yet another one of these movies. The first film is Jurassic Park. And as the name implies, our story is set in a park, a Jurassic Park. You see, wealthy and obnoxiously arrogant CEO John Hammond and his company, they figured out how to clone dinosaurs from extracting DNA from mosquitoes trapped in amber from the Jurassic period. And props to them for actually giving a logical reason for why their dinosaurs are back, and it's not just an island with dinosaurs that they found. But because it's a movie, things of course go awry when rival business insiders attempt to steal the research from the park, resulting in a fight for survival among the few experts brought in to approve the park before its official opening. Safe to say, they did not approve because there's a bunch of dinosaur violence. However, I do approve of the movie. It's beautifully shot, it's got spectacle with the dinosaurs on screen, extremely tense moments, but raises real-world questions about the ethics of science and monetization and doing things for profit. Arguably, the most important point here is that the movie's got great effects. They sell the dinosaurs well. To me, this is the definitive dinosaur movie. It's the perfect example of what would happen if dinosaurs were in our world, including the amazement of seeing one and the terror of facing one. And since no other dinosaur movie has come close to this one, I think it's great, and I'm gonna put it up in S tier. I know it's a very short review for this film, but that's what makes it great. It's got great effects and a great story. It does everything you'd want it to do. But of course, it's a successful movie, so they decided, you know what, we're gonna make a sequel. And this one is The Lost World Jurassic Park. Interesting that they put the subtitle before the franchise title. That's probably the most interesting thing this movie does. A few years after the first film, Jeff Goldblum's character returns to investigate a second island that also has dinosaurs on it, mostly because his girlfriend is there too and he's worried about her safety. But of course, things go awry when betrayal strikes and mercenaries plan to capture these dinosaurs and bring them to a zoo, as if a zoo would be able to contain them. In a lot of ways, it's very similar to the first film, and in a lot of ways, it's pretty dumb too. But it's got great effects like the first one, and some tense action too. However, the problem with doing a sequel to Jurassic Park is that the first one is such an iconic, influential film that relies heavily on the spectacle and suspense of seeing these dinosaurs. So how do you make a sequel that does all the same dinosaur stuff again, but somehow amazes and scares you more than it already did before? The answer here is you don't really, and the film suffers for it. And of all the things they could have done for a sequel, why do another island with an ensemble cast undermining the danger for far too long, with bad guys who want to profit from the dinos? There are plenty of entertaining moments in the film, but it felt like the film could have gone in a much more interesting route than what we got here. So really, it's a film that isn't bad, but it's not as remotely as good as the first one. It doesn't feel like it really has anything new to say or new to add. It feels the same, if that makes sense. It just feels the same, So I think this one is okay, and this is very much a C-tier movie for me. It's Jurassic Park if it wasn't as influential, not quite as suspenseful, and without nearly as much spectacle, which is all important to a movie like this. And that brings us to Jurassic Park III. They gave up on interesting titles. But anyway, another few years later, Alan Grant from the first movie makes his return, as he reluctantly agrees to join a party on doing an aerial tour of the island from the second movie, Site B. But things go awry when him, the couple he's traveling with, and their hired mercenaries end up crashing on the island. And they end up having to survive against dinosaurs. You know what? Let me just pause the video right here. I'm done. Surprise, I said I was going to rank and review all the films, and that was originally my plan, but I'm changing gears partway through the video. Plot twist, I know, but here's the thing. I could go on about how Jurassic Park 3 is the same as the first movie, but less interesting because we already saw that one. I could sit here and tell you how Jurassic World is one of those legacy sequels that does the same as the first, but this time the twist is that the park, for whatever reason, is fully open to the public. A really dumb decision, because this is the 4th movie now of dinosaurs killing a bunch of people. These people should be aware of how dangerous these dinosaurs are. I could say how Fallen Kingdom begins very much like The Lost World, with some returning and some new characters heading to an island where dinosaurs roam free, but then the second half turns into this whole plot about dinosaurs being forced onto the black market to be sold as weapons, another plot point they keep reusing, but it's really stupid considering how modern technology and dudes with guns would be more effective anyway. Oh, and human cloning is a thing now, which I'll say is interesting, but the bad guys still want dinosaurs in every one of these movies. It's just dumb. I could even talk about the way Dominion brings back the trio from the first film, teaming up with newer characters to face a Jurassic World, if you will, of dinosaurs and humans trying to coexist, but instead focuses on this new problem of deadly locusts threatening to wipe out humanity, which I guess isn't inherently bad, but it's not great when it takes away from the really cool concept of humans and dinosaurs living together. And then there's the latest film, Jurassic World Rebirth, which is interesting because there are now more Jurassic World than Park movies, and I could talk about how it's just the Lost World again. I mean, it's very similar to that one, but I guess having unique mutant dinosaurs like the D-Rex is something, right? It's barely something would be my answer. Is having an ensemble cast of characters, most of whom have comical levels of plot armor, traveling to some faraway island, either the same place over and over again, or somehow another island that also has dinosaurs, initially undermining the threat despite dinosaurs being an obvious threat. I mean, it's common sense, they're massive creatures here. Then having some corporation or mercenary group trying to profit from dinosaurs as weapons, even though they'd be largely ineffective, and then having to survive against dinosaurs trying to kill them again, even though we know nothing bad will happen to the main characters. Is that basically the only story we could do here? Hell, 8 movies about Harry Potter going to a magical school has more variety, heart, soul, and creativity than this. Watching 7 movies about how amazing yet terrifying these dinosaurs are make the wonder of these dinos start to feel self-indulgent about their own visual effects work, which was groundbreaking before, but not in this age of CGI where every movie has crazy visual effects, and it makes the horror of these dinos fall flat more and more with each film. So, what could have been done with these films, and what could still be done in the future to actually make them worthwhile? Well, that's a bit tricky because, honestly, how do you keep making movies about dinosaurs causing problems without it getting stale? But how about this? Actually think about what you're trying to say with these movies. The first film had cool dinosaur stuff and a story with meaning. The rest has the same dinosaur stuff you've already seen a million times and a story that does absolutely nothing. So maybe focus on giving your characters compelling arcs. Maybe make them a bit more flawed and capable of being injured by what is supposed to be the constant physical threat in these films. Then from there, you can try to integrate the same dinosaur problem, but good luck to you because it's such a one and done concept that they keep making sequels out of. But all this hatred I'm throwing out actually stems from the love of the first movie, which I actually bothered to talk about in this video. I hadn't seen it in years, and I was pleasantly surprised by how well it looks, how perfect the tone and pacing are, and how great the balance was between the amazement of seeing dinosaurs on screen and the visual effects work that was done and the practical stuff too, as well as the terror of them going around killing people, and a story that had any semblance of themes or reasons for being told. So yes, I love the first Jurassic Park. I think the second one is okay, but I do think this is a perfect example of a series being milked dry. But if you enjoyed the movies, that's great. Good for you. But I think given all the reviews the latest film has gotten and all the other Jurassic World and Park movies, all the reviews that have been given out over the years, I would say most probably agree with me about how this series is kind of a snooze fest, minus the first one. Hopefully, though, I'll be talking about things that I enjoy next time, but until then, please take care, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see y'all next time.